Hey everybody, how's everybody doing today? Welcome to my Sunday live stream where we talk about photography mostly, catch up on what's new and see how you guys are doing. Um, Gosh, I'm so tired. I just got back from a photo walk with the photo club that David Crooks runs, and, uh, and then I had a big breakfast, so it's seriously like nap time, and I only slept a couple hours last night. Excuse me, but I'm gonna have some coffee that I have here, and we're gonna get through this today, one way or the other. It's been a lot going on the last couple of weeks, right? We had the announcement of the OM1, and we've already done a couple live streams on that between me and Jimmy and Peter and, Robin, the whole gang. And wow, let's see. I did pre-order one for myself. Um, and on the website with the camera store I buy from, districtcamera.com, um, they said they're gonna start delivering tomorrow, but we'll see. I'll call them tomorrow and see. And oh, I can't wait to get it. I mean, it's just having a new camera. But I was shocked though. I was shocked to see that I've had my EM1 Mark III for 2 years. I feel like I just got it. I mean, it still feels like a new camera to me. And like I haven't even fully utilized it. Um, and truth be told, I don't need a new camera, right? Most of us don't. We just like new gear sometimes, and, there have been so many releases, between all the manufacturers the last few years, and, despite, the pandemic and everything else going on, I was never tempted by another camera system. Just I guess I have some brand loyalty because there's definitely at this price range, there's definitely cameras that offer, more or less, right? It's all a balance. Um, there's no perfect camera, but if I was going on strictly image quality alone for the kind of photography I do, my S5 really is a 24 megapixel full frame and it just generates beautiful, beautiful images. And, um, my M1 Mark III is beautiful, just takes amazing images. And I love the handheld high res shot and the live ND and all the features it has. And when I really, really think about it, I just don't need a new camera, but I couldn't help myself. I just pulled the trigger on it, and I should get it next week. So, I'll let you guys know how that goes, but the few, um I've had a chance to watch some more videos, and there's been some more side-by-side comparisons, in terms of noise performance between the M1 Mark III and the OM1, and so far, it's looking pretty substantial difference, maybe 2 full stops as they're claiming. I'm excited about that. Um, but the OM1 honestly will probably not be a camera I take on my daily photo walks. My favorite camera still is my Pen F. With a few exceptions, like today, the photo walk was really at a place called Dyke Marsh, and that place is really about birding, right? So I meant to bring the M1 Mark III, but I accidentally picked up the M1 Mark II and the 75 to 300. And, I got some pretty decent shots when I was paying attention, and, maybe I'll share one with you. I really like a car. I haven't had a chance to look at them. I just loaded them into the computer, but, let me see who's here. Plato, good to see you. Guzman and Jeff Painter, hi. Christine, Randy, good to see you, Randy. I haven't wa I know you just posted a couple videos. I just haven't watched them yet. Lasse's here and Andreas, David. Oh, hey, Dave. We just had breakfast together. John Matthews, good to see you. Oh, you're in France? Oh, is that like a vacation for you? Have you always lived in France? I thought you were like here in the US. Oh, David Tellett's here. Wow, you finished developing already. David Teller brought a really cool camera with him today. He shoots a lot of film. It was a Fujifilm 645, and it had metering and autofocus, and it was pretty small, like Mamiya 6 kind of size, right? Even smaller. I mean, I was surprised how small the 645 camera was. So I'll be looking at those online today, but I really shouldn't. I got my Blad, so I really should shoot a little more than one roll out of that before I start looking at another medium format camera. And yeah, you tell your sister to be here at 9 for the meeting at 9:30. I know I've always been accused of that my whole life, being late. Like tell Rob the midnight movie starts at 11 ever since my college days. And George says trying to figure out the Photoshop Lightroom subscription plans and pricing. Well, it really depends on the country you're in. So I'm not familiar with other countries, but here in the US it's 10 bucks a month plus tax. I think I pay 10 or $11. And you get Lightroom and Photoshop together. Uh, and it's a pretty hard combination to beat. At 10 bucks a month. Um, so that's all I can tell you about it. And I use it really for my data asset management. It has a really very robust management software for managing your photos. And then the Photoshop side, they've made some recent improvements, neural filters and things which were I was playing a little bit with those. Those are kind of interesting. But I use that mainly for my paid work in real estate and commercial photography where I have to layer things together. And I haven't found any other software that really does that well and has a very smooth workflow. But for my general editing, uh, for my personal photos, even for my paid work, I edit everything in Photoshop. I'm sorry, I edit everything in Photolab 5 before I export whatever I need to Photoshop to start doing layering. But for when I don't have to do layering or anything, I don't even need Lightroom Photoshop really, other than to import the photos. And I use Photolab 5 with the deep prime and the optics module. It to me, I mean, it was a little pricey. I paid like $280 for like a package. But it's a one-time cost. Really, it's only one time every year or two because you have to pay an upgrade fee. I just paid like 50 bucks for an upgrade. So you're still paying something every year, it feels like. But you don't have to upgrade, right? You can continue using the version that you have and never upgrade so long as your camera is supported. But yeah, I feel like Photolab 5 has given me the best results from my Olympus cameras. Oh, the sound is off sync? Okay. Maybe I can fix that. 1 second. All right, that should be better. um, Sometimes it's off sync just the first minute or so because I notice whenever I play a video right before I come on live, the first 30 seconds or so is way out of sync. And then somehow it catches up. DeMorgan says, well, we all need new cameras. Yeah, start a GoFundMe, Dave. I know Dave and I are, at least I'm selling my EM1 Mark III and EM1 Mark II, maybe a lens or two. I can I can I can help pay for this OM1 because it's 2,200 bucks, right? And I won't need my other OMDs once I have that camera. Because I'll have my EM5 Mark III as backup for anything if I need to do backup work. Um, I'm keeping the EM5 Mark III. I just like the small size and lightweight of taking that out on photo walks, and it's a great backup camera because it's so tiny. You just put a lens cap on it and put it in your bag, and it'll do everything I need it to do. It does everything I need it to do that my EM1 Mark III will do. Um, albeit, well, albeit actually the EM1 Mark II might be a better keeper for backup, and then sell the EM1 EM5 Mark III. I'll have to give that some thought. But if anybody's interested in my cameras, my EM1 Mark III, my EM1 Mark II, just send me an email, rob@robtrek.com. Uh, I'm thinking, I don't know, I haven't checked the EM5, but I'm thinking like 1,100 bucks for the EM5 Mark. I'm sorry, for the EM1 Mark III, maybe 1,100. That's a little less than I think what I've been seeing it for, but things can change fast. And then my EM1 Mark II, I was thinking like 500. So if you're interested, just email me, and then you just pay shipping or whatever it is. Ideally, just within the continental US though. The shipping is expensive if it goes, overseas and stuff. So just continental US uh, viewers. Oh, Christine, no OM1, huh? Oh, hey Rick, how are you? Gas strikes again. Yeah, I bought the OM1. I pre-ordered it. I don't have it in my hands yet. Um, yeah, Michael, I can tell you that it's going to be a while before a sale comes up, unless the camera totally bombs and nobody buys it. Then you'll see a sale pretty quickly. But I doubt it. I think it's probably going to sell well because it's really a good camera. Um, yeah, the M5 Mark III, no, I still like to take it out sometimes. Um, like I said, it's a good backup camera for when I go on my photo jobs. Because it's so small, it just takes up no room uh, when I take it with me. It's not quite as easy to use because it only has one custom mode dial, and I use three when I'm on a job. If you ever watched any of my real estate vlogs, I use the custom mode dials. I could get by though with the M5. I've never had to take it out as a backup. My cameras have never failed. But the fact that the OM1 now takes a new battery, there's no point for me to keep the EM1 Mark II or Mark III as a backup camera. If it was using the same battery, it'd be an awesome backup camera. But it's not using the same battery as the OM1, so there's just no point to keep them when I have an OM1. I mean, I have a hard time of letting go of stuff, so we'll see. But I haven't. I still have to move all my money around from different accounts and things. Call my Swiss teller and banker and see what they say. But uh, I I don't know. We'll have to see. And there's other stuff I need to get that um, I should really. Well, anyway, we'll see. Not photography related, but there is other stuff I need to get. To keep my house from falling apart. Um, oh, Roberto's here. I did watch your video, Roberto, recently. I think I didn't watch the one this morning though. It was you were doing some plane spotting, right? I haven't watched that one yet. Yeah, Affinity Photo. Affinity Photo, man. I paid 25 bucks for that thing. It was on sale. It was like I don't know why it was on sale that cheap, but it was on sale for really cheap. And I've only used it a couple of times, but for $25, that's like a no-brainer to get that. Oops, sorry, I clicked the wrong button. Oh, you're playing with DxO Pure Raw. I think I answered a question about that, but it wasn't from you. But yeah, the Pure Raw you can get for like $100, right? And give or take, I don't know if it's on sale or not. Let's say $100. But it doesn't have as much control as you would if you were using Photolab 5 with Deep Prime. It's the premium, Photolab 5 Premium, I think. Like I said, it's with if you don't get the DxO pack and the perspective correction, all the other add-ons, if you just get the Photolab 5 with DxO Prime or Deep Prime, I think it's $169. I mean, whatever it is, I think it's worth it to spend more and get the Photolab 5 because you get a little more granularity in how much sharpness is applied, how much noise reduction is applied. And then you get the optics module, which also sharpens the image really nicely. So to me, Pure Raw on its own is fine, but I went with the Photolab 5 Deep Prime because it's an excellent photo editor and gives great results. Topaz I haven't had much luck with. I mean, you can, I know people that tweak the sliders and then do some combination between denoise and sharpen because they have a Topaz sharpen program. That's just too many loops to jump through. Photolab 5 or DxO Deep Prime, those things, it's a click of a button. A little bit of a slider to make adjustments if you want, but it's very, very straightforward. Just even the default settings, full automatic, give you excellent results. John says, if you wanted a variable ND filter for all your Olympus lenses gears, which size would you get? Some say just get the 77 and it works for everything, but yeah, no. What I did, I bought the 62 millimeter that fits my 12 to 40 Pro. And then I only have to step down to 58 millimeters to fit my 14 to 150 and 40 to 150 and uh gosh, it fits one other lens. So I can deal with a filter and one step ring. But when you get a huge ass filter and then you start stacking up your step rings, you got this pyramid hanging off the end of your kit lens or whatever lens, right? Like your 25 millimeter. And for me, it's cheaper to buy. It's not cheaper. It's just for me, what I did is I bought smaller filters for my smaller lenses. I think it's a 49 millimeter. The 49 millimeter, I think, fits my 25, my 12, my 17, my maybe not the 45. But I bought one more. So I think it's best to buy two variable ND filters. You buy one sort of like at the 62, for the 12 to 40 or 58, depending what lenses you have. And then think about if you only need one step ring to go from from 58 to 62 or 62 back to 58. And it's okay because even if the filter's a little bit smaller and you have to step down to the ring, right? Some people have a concern with it maybe vignetting a little bit. But usually when you're using wider lenses like that, the lenses are more telephoto anyway. Um, and if you still get vignetting, just crop in a little bit in post. It's just going to be a tiny bit in the corners. It's not a big deal. So my advice would be buy two. But if you had to buy one that's kind of the lens that you think you'll use it most on. In my case, I thought I'd use it the most on my 12 to 40 Pro. And then I only have to step down to 58 or step up if I ever buy it. I think I have one lens that actually is bigger than 62. think the 75 millimeter. I can't remember. Uh, but yeah, buy an ND filter that you only have to step up one or step down one, and and if you have to step up more than one or two rings, that's when it starts to get really kind of unwieldy, and then you do risk some serious vignetting when you do that. Okay. Um, I hope that that helped. Oh, hey Ben, how you doing? There's so much chatter about the OM1 these days. What was the camera made over 50 years ago? Yeah. I do have an OM1 actually, the original, the film version. To me, I feel like if they were going to call it OM1, they should have called it the OM1 Mark II, right? The one that they're releasing now. And then the original OM1 would be the Mark I. I thought that would have been a little cooler. Not that it matters. Who cares what they name a camera? But I just think if it were me, I would have called the current OM1 the OM1 Mark II because then that'll really tie it back to the original film camera. Because unless you know the OM1 was originally a film camera from 1972, um, that OM1 name designation doesn't mean anything to a new buyer, right? Uh, but if you call it the Mark II, they're going to say, people might ask, well, gee, where's the Mark One? Maybe I can save some money. And then you say, oh, the original Mark One was a film camera. That would have been cool. But that's just me, you know? Um, yeah, Cliff is sharing the conventional advice for buying filters. Buy the biggest one for your biggest lens and then step down. But I can tell you in practice, for me, I'm always losing one of the rings. So I end up not being able to step all the way down or step up if I need to. Because you buy these ring kits, right? I got a whole box of rings here that, you know, and I'm always looking for one of the rings I'm missing when I'm trying to step up multiple up and down. So now, like I said, my advice now is just buy one that is just off by one step. Then when you carry your ND filter, you only have to carry with one step ring, and you can screw that onto the filter and put it into a little pouch and it stays nice and thin rather than, going out on site, you're out in the field and you're like, "Damn it, I'm missing a step ring. I can't get this ND filter on." That's the other reason I like to only have one. Um, but that's just me. That would be my advice. There's no there's no uh, reason not to do what Cliff is suggesting, right? The conventional advice. Um, the only reason I don't do it is because I'm always missing a step ring somewhere in the pattern. Like I'll be like, oh, I used that step ring on this other lens and I didn't bring it with me, right? And now I can't use it on this lens, that kind of thing. Roberto says, I want to try the Sony A7 III. Um, I I had one. I didn't have one, but I've handled one a few times. I didn't care for it. Um, but you might like it. I don't know. I didn't care for it. And Sorry, I don't know how I lost track on the chat here. Oh, Gigafish, yeah. The park was nice. It was a little cold early on, but after about 8 o'clock, it warmed up nicely. Oh, Mike G, this must be back when I was talking about. I don't know. Like I said, I'm thinking 1100 for the EM1 Mark III and 500 for the EM1 Mark II. But I'll look online and see what they're going for. But that's my off the top of my head kind of guess on those two. And that's an interesting idea. Might want to get the OM1 sooner than later because of inflation. That's true. Jimmy said they sold out the first wave. Oh, really? They sold out, huh? Wow, that's cool. Remember when the Nikon Z9 came out and Fro was saying that it was on eBay for like $10,000. You know, it's a $5,000 camera, right? But it's selling for 10. You better believe I'm selling mine. If it's going for 10 grand, let's say it's going for double. Well, I don't know if I'd sell it for four. Yeah, I would sell it for 4,000. Just wait for stock to come back. Uh, didn't they say it was backwards compatible, the battery? It is not. It is not. But I started that rumor. I started a couple of rumors on that camera. I don't know why. I didn't realize people were looking at my community posts and things, but I started a couple of rumors. One of them was that they were going to have a new battery for the camera, but it was going to be backwards compatible. The other rumor I started was that it's going to have astro tracking into the camera. So if you look at my community post, it's dated at least a week before anybody else said those two things. So my guess is I was the one that started that rumor. Um, so wow, I didn't know I have so much power. Uh, yeah, I know. You've been getting rid of stuff you just bought. You haven't had that 100 to 400 very long, and you already sold it. I'm still leaning towards the 300 f4 if I want to get a telephoto. I went out with the 75 to 300 today. I got pretty good results. Oh yeah, I was going to show you guys one. Let's see. And left. I don't know why the monitors change all the time, but let me. Wait, monitor. Yeah, here we go. Monitor 2? No. Monitor 1, monitor 3. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, this one. This is the straight out of camera JPEG. I haven't even processed this yet. Why is this uh there's a bald eagle in here. I said this is the straight out of camera JPEG ISO 640 using the 75 to 300 and you see the EXIF data. Oh, it's 1/250 the second f8 at 300 millimeters. So the IBIS was working hard there. Well, once I edit this and do a little bit of sharpening and stuff, I think it'll come out pretty good. Maybe do a sky replacement. But yeah, this eagle was perched up there. And then, let's see, I thought this was kind of a cool picture. The duck is blurry because my shutter speed again was 1/250th. Uh, I didn't have time to change it fast enough. But I was, I did a panning motion while I was tracking the duck flying and took its picture. And I just thought the streaks in the water and everything looked really cool. And then these are just some rocks. I don't know. I got to do something about that. Maybe crop in a little bit. And there's a plane in the sky. And then this was and like I said, I was shooting some black and white. So these are the JPEGs. Um, it's just a seagull, but I'm at base ISO 200 on this, so I think when I get the JPEG, I'll be able to recover the color, and I'm gonna convert this to color because I like the colors that I got, and this has to be straightened. This is a raw image actually. Um, Everything's crooked, man. Now the water and the horizon's crooked, but the pole is straight. I hate crooked lines. It drives me nuts. But I feel like, let me click auto. This is at ISO 400. A little bit of noise, but this will clean up, I think. We'll see. I'll post them in the usual places, my Flickr and Instagram and all that. So, but yeah, I thought the eagle shot came out really good. Um, oh, magnetic filters. Yeah, I've seen those. I forget who it was offered to send me to review. They offered to send me some of those magnetic filters. I passed on it. Um, I can't remember why. I don't know. It's a little bit of a relief that I don't have to do reviews. When I don't have to do reviews because there's so much pressure. Because you have to do it usually within 10 or within 2 weeks. Usually they give you 2 weeks to do the review. And and then you got to do a fairly decent job, right? And I only try to review things that I think are going to be decent. It's either something I need for myself personally or something I think you guys might appreciate or need or be interested in. Like lenses, I'll always do a lens review even though I don't need any more lenses. I'll always do a lens review because a lot of people are looking at lenses all the time, but they were supposed to send me one. I haven't seen it yet. Um, but yeah, reviews are unless they start sending me cameras and things, I turn a lot of reviews down. I turned a couple down this week. One was for a really nice 10-inch touchscreen monitor for, like when you do video work and you have an external monitor. This was like a 10-inch ultra bright fancy pants monitor. But I was like, you guys don't care about video. And I don't need a 10-inch monitor that badly. So if I needed a 10-inch monitor, you'd be seeing a review on it right now. That's why I do those microphone reviews because I need microphones, right? Like this one I'm using now. This little shotgun mic. Um, this is what I use for my streams, right? I only got it because I needed one, but I'm obligated to do a review on it. But I got it and I did a review, and it's a great microphone. So my reviews are totally honest. I mean, I wouldn't mislead anybody about the products I'm reviewing. But at the same time, my motivations are different. Sometimes I need it, sometimes I think you guys could use it. Um, but ultimately the review itself is honest. Okay. Oh, Lauren says the GH60. I haven't talked. Oh my God. You know what's so funny is the day I had Emily on, Thursday, right? Happened to be OM System Day, but I'm doing a live stream on a GH6. That GH6 looks really awesome though. Really awesome. It's a little big and bulky for my taste. I'm pretty I mean I like the size and weight of my OMDs, right? My EM5s, my EM1s. Just perfect. Perfect for me. Yeah, I watched Gerald Undone. His biggest complaint was about the pulsing of the autofocus. And that's a little too nitpicky for me. And I know other people have complained about that in the past, about how in the background the autofocus pulses. But I think most cinematographers, and this heater needs to kick in. It's really cold in here. I'm gonna move my heater a little closer. Uh, it's only 57 degrees now. When I walked in here and started the stream, it was 50. So I still got a little ways to go. Anyway, once I get to about 64, then I feel okay. So the pulsing, I mean, it's you have to really punch in and see it, and then when you're shooting wide angle, uh, you can see it like in the background, like when you're outdoors and stuff. But really, if you have a subject in front of the camera, people aren't really looking in the background. But I don't know, I'm not a professional videographer, like, well, technically I am, but I'm really not. They can give you, they will tell you what they do, you know, and if that makes a difference. I don't know who to watch to recommend to tell you that, because a lot of the reviewers online, they're all very competent. Gerald, no questions, very competent reviewer. So is Gordon Lang. Uh, all these there's a lot of competent reviewers online, but they're really not hardcore videographers or photo people, right? Um, I'm making an assumption. I don't know. Maybe they were professional photographers and videographers in a previous life, but the impression I get is they were never doing hardcore videography and photography as a profession. Making, in other words, making a living from it, uh, in any major way, because there are photographers out there, a lot of whom we've probably never heard of, but you see their stuff every day on television, for commercials and print, print ads. You see professional photography everywhere, and it's those, I doubt those guys are coming onto YouTube and saying, "This is how I took this picture," right? Uh, I just don't know of anybody that was a professional photographer, hardcore, and then coming on the YouTube and doing gear reviews. So I don't know. I mean, I was a professional photographer before I started doing YouTube, with the real estate photography. And when I came on the YouTube, I didn't make videos about real estate photography or anything. I didn't even do gear reviews. I was doing, this is how you use the camera, and I bought this camera for my pleasure initially. So I was just sharing how to use it, and the rest is history. But uh and come to think of it, I can't even think of a camera review that I've ever done. I've done comparisons in terms of features and stuff, but I've never really, I don't know. I better bite my lip on that because I can't remember the videos I've made, to be honest. Um, but it doesn't when a new camera gets released or a new lens or something new, the first thing that comes to my mind is is not, do I need to come out and do a review on this? It's really the last thing I want to, am interested in. I'm thinking, is this something I can use? Is this something I'm thinking about buying, and then if I buy it and use it and it's really good, then maybe I can do a comparison against, why I bought this lens and how I'm using it. But when something new comes out, the first thing that does not come to my mind is I'm going to do a review on this. Um, it just I'm not I don't know. I feel like it's already been done to death, right? So I'd rather talk about how I'm using the camera, how you can use the camera. Here are the settings I use. Here's some settings maybe you missed, things like that. That to me is a little more useful than just doing another review that people that are much more competent than I am have already done, right? Any test I've seen one test. I forget which. It was on an OM Systems video. I don't remember which channel. OM Systems has all these channels. I saw one at 25,000. It was pretty impressive. Like I said, it was probably 2 stops. So, that's something I might do when I get the camera. When I get the camera, I'll say, "Okay, I took these shots with this camera, or I took these shots with both cameras at various ISOs. Let's see how they compare." And, uh, and then I'm gonna do dynamic range and, noise and sharpness to see if there's any difference. Because I can use the same lens on both cameras, right? So we don't have to think of the lens as a variable anymore, or sample, copies and things like that, whatever they call it. I'm going to be able to do I'm going to have a very consistent methodology. And those I might do because I know a lot of people might be interested in that, right? To help them make a buying decision. Um, or if they've already bought it, give them a little confidence that they made a good decision, right? Justify their purchase, in other words. So I might do that. And then when I do have the camera, the other thing I want to do is maybe do a live stream where you guys ask me questions and I'll see if I can find it on the camera or if I can do something on the camera. I think a lot of it's already been done, but sometimes it's hard to find exactly what you're looking for when you have a question about something that's new on the market, right? So when I have the camera here and you ask me, I can say, "Oh, let me try it." You know, can you I don't know, like a question that hasn't been answered that I still have about the camera is when you're running a video, say you're recording a video on time lapse and the battery starts to get low, can you just plug the power bank in and it automatically continues, right? Or does the camera reset or not see it being, you know what I mean? Like I want to be able to see, oh my gosh, the battery's running low. I just need a little bit more. Let me plug my power bank in so it can keep going. Or does the camera shut off when you plug the power bank in? Because I've seen that sometimes on other devices, right? You're doing something with it, but you can't plug the power in until it's done whatever it's doing. So that's one question I had that I haven't seen anybody answer yet. Maybe someone has, but I ain't gonna go dig through the 50, 100 videos on YouTube to try and find that one question. So I'll do my own live stream and you guys can ask me questions about it and I'll do my best to answer them. I'm pretty familiar with the camera because I've watched a lot of videos on it. And and with any luck, I'll get it on Tuesday or Wednesday. But we'll see. I'm not sure. That's if they get it in. If the camera store gets it in on Monday, they'll ship it to me. I'll get it Tuesday, Wednesday because they're only about 20 miles from me. They're not very far. Oh, Lauren, you're funny. What is your favorite M43 camera you got rid of and now wish you had back? Well, that's easy. I've never gotten rid of a Micro Four Thirds camera. I have every single one I've ever bought. So, uh, me selling the ones that I have now will be a first if it happens. I'm still a little bit wishy-washy on selling my OMDs, but you know, things are a little tight these days, so I don't know I can really afford not to sell some gear to get the new one. I'm just want to make sure. No, I've never sold. In fact, my very first Micro Four Thirds camera is the EM10 Mark II, and that's what I'm using right now for this live stream. It's been relegated to just being a webcam, but that's what I'm using now for the live stream, and I have been for the last couple of weeks. Um, ever since I switched off from, because I used to use the OMD Mark II for live streaming, but I think I might sell it. So I took it off and I put the M10. So never have sold one. Cameras in general, I've never sold a camera. I wish I had back. And I've sold cameras for the intent of buying and selling it, but I've never sold a camera that I actually like. I'm trying to think. I've sold lenses off, and I don't miss any of those. And they were all Nikon f-mount lenses, nothing Micro Four Thirds. So my answer is I've never done it. Ask me in a few weeks and see if I end up selling my OMDs and stuff. I may not. And hey, good morning, Adam. How are you doing? Good to see you. Uh, Boys level. That's right. Ah, I don't have any friends at all in digital. Not one. I have no contact numbers, the name of nobody, nothing. I don't know anybody. Um, Adam says we often send people to you for your in-depth. Oh, thank you. That's right. You run the Adam Favre runs the Facebook OMD education group. I think that's what it's called, OMD education group on Facebook. If it's not yours, you moderate it, but yeah, Adam Favre, I appreciate that. I try. I'm not going to do a sniff test. I'm not the fro. I'll let you know if it has a smell though. Well, I'm curious where it's made. It's probably made in Taiwan. I'll do all that. I'll do an unboxing video. I'll do an unboxing video because sometimes that's just interesting, right? I don't know if the shutter count thing works or not though. Because remember on the M1 Mark III, I was able to check the shutter count and the date of the battery and all of that, right? I don't know if that sequence of pushing the buttons and the menu and stuff will get me to a shutter count or not. And yeah, Basil, that's the best way. I mean, if you've been using cameras for a long time, right? I haven't really. My first camera I think was 2013 with the Sony NEX6, which I still have. Whoever was asking me if I ever sold a camera that I miss, I still have my NEX6. Uh, But yeah, if you have a good feel for cameras and you're really into the specs, you can look at the camera specs and um, get a feel for, is this camera going to help me with whatever it is I'm doing? Am I going to be able to, is it going to save me some time in the field? Is it going to make some things in the field easier? Um, is it going to have better image quality or better autofocusing? And you can kind of, you still have to read some reviews or get some third party feedback, I think, before you make that final decision. But you probably go into the store and you can get a feel for it physically in the hands if it's a totally new brand, right? Maybe you're switching from Canon to Nikon or vice versa, Nikon to Olympus or OM systems, right? When you're switching systems, I think it's even more important to actually physically hold it in your hand. For me, I don't have to physically hold an OM1. I can buy that sight unseen because I'm very, very familiar with the M1 Mark III. And looking at the specs um, and what they claim the improvements are, then I can make a buying decision that this camera will do what I want it to do and solve problems I need to solve, etc., or make things easier. Um, but yeah, sometimes you have to, you know, the you have to find people on YouTube that you connect with and trust when they do reviews. Like I trust Gordon Lang for the most part. I've never seen him do a review that I thought was biased or unfair. I think his reviews have always been very, very good. Um, and I really can't say that about many other people. I mean, Gerald Undone does a very, very thorough review. It's very technical. Um, and but I feel like he's a little bit biased towards Sony because Sony's been working so well for him. And that's perfectly fine. Because I felt like but that's fine. We all have our own biases, whether it's because something has absolute best autofocus and that is a very high priority versus, uh, packing things full of features. I don't know. But the GH6 review that he had, and he admits that he had to kind of rush that, right? When he was, when he was, when he's rushed and when he's rushed and not able to give that thorough review that he normally does, that's when you start to see his biases come out. Uh, but his other reviews that I've seen, I think he's right up there with Gordon Lang's in terms of doing a very unbiased, fair review. But when he did the GH6, he got a little bit rushed, I think. And you could see he was a little bit biased towards Sony because of the autofocus, which it's not the end all be all, right? Brian, you love your EM10 Mark. Yeah, EM10 Mark II is still the best value camera on the market. It was from the day it came out to now, especially. You can get them for like 200 bucks. And I've said it many times. I could use that camera professionally right now for my real estate. Um, and what lens do I use? I use the Panasonic 7 to 14 f4. I'm going to replace it eventually with the Olympus 8 to 25 f4 because the Panasonic has some terrible purple flaring. But the 8 to 25 is just, it's an expensive lens and I can work around the purple flaring for now. And yeah, yeah, my I'm sorry, I can't pronounce that. Daniel. I can say Daniel. Daniel knows. Yeah, menu questions will be big. That's true. Um, anyone know about any new firmware? No. I just checked myself yesterday. I didn't see anything new. And nobody from Olympus, or I'm sorry, nobody from OM Systems will say anything about firmware ever. They're just not allowed to. Yeah, the Pen F is awesome. My favorite camera. I tell you, Lauren just cracks me up constantly. And I do read all of your emails, Lauren. I don't respond to them much recently. I'm sorry about that. I just been kind of busy. But your emails are so long. I have to really take some time to read it and then try to respond to all the different points that you make in your emails. So that's the other thing is I don't want to just give a simple reply and say, yes, I agree, that sounds good. Something simple. I want to take the time to reply in a manner I just think it's more respectful, right? Somebody writes you this long ass email and then your reply is, yes, I agree, and that's it. That to me is a little bit rude, right? If somebody's going to take the time to write you this long email, you should take the time to read it and respond uh, with at least, doesn't have to be as long as the one they sent you, but at least respond um, that you did read it and gave some thought to all of the points that the person made in your response, right? So, so it's either that or I ghost you. And I'm not ghosting you. I do read your emails. I just want to be able to take the time to respond. And then by the time I get around to thinking about responding, it's like, you know, you've already sent two or three other emails that I need to respond to. So sometimes it's hard to keep up. But don't stop sending them. I really appreciate you guys sending me email. I do read them. I just don't have time to respond all the time. Sometimes it takes me a day or two to get back if it's a very specific question about gear or how to do something. I do respond to those pretty quickly. But a lot of emails I get are just, kind of shooting the shit about something, right? And um uh and I'm not saying that it's about nothing. They're very substantive conversations. Um but they're not like the kind of emails where I can answer something very quickly about how do I do this or how do I do that or what do you recommend for this, right? Those emails I can respond very quickly, but emails I get from some people like Lauren, it takes some time. Oh, the EP8 brings the accessory. I doubt it. Um, although that was kind of a cool little feature, right? Like my pen PL8, I have a PL8, had the accessory port. I think it was the last one of the PL series to have it. And I got the SEMA mic adapter, and you can't find them anymore. I'm thinking I could get a small fortune for mine if anybody wants it, because I'm never going to use that camera again. Oh, hey, Marco. It's okay. You're late. That's the one thing. If you guys are here after I get here, you are definitely late. That's all I know. Because I'm always late. And if you come in after me, you're late. You're definitely late. That is really good group question to ask question. I don't know what you're talking about, Ben. That is really good group to ask. OMD Education Group, right. Yeah, I'm falling behind. Okay, yeah. Adam Farb's group, the OMD Education Group is awesome. I check in there once in a while, like, because, Facebook will notify me that there's posts and I'll read them. Um, sorry, wow, I'm gonna be able to get caught up here on my chat. Yeah, 300p on the GH6. That is pretty amazing. And it is a weird number, like 240 should be 360 next, right? But this increment of 5, maybe in European countries, 300 makes more sense. I don't know what that is. Wish we would get the sensor stab box for long. I don't know what that is. What's a sensor stab box? Huh. Oh, Brandon. Yeah. See, Brandon has it. 25p, which is kind of a European thing. Um, that makes sense. 12x. Because PAL, I think, is 2550, right? And NTSC is 3060. And then cinema is like 24. I don't know. I shoot everything at 30p personally. If I'm paying attention, all my footage will be 30p. I mean, sometimes I get them mixed up because I'm not paying attention, but if I'm paying attention and I got multiple cameras, I try to make them all 30p. You buy whatever Casey tells you. I watched his video this morning or yesterday where whenever he answers people's questions from his channel, he just cracks me up. I swear to God, if I like treated you guys like the way he treats his viewers, I'd be booted off of YouTube. But somehow, but he gets away with it because that's his shtick, right? He can get away with talking to his viewers like that, and they expect it. But man, if I told you guys to F off and you're idiots and all of that stuff, I'd be in trouble. I wouldn't have a channel anymore. But like I said, he gets away with it because that's just how he is. Yeah, the OM1 is going to be awesome. I can't wait to get it. I'm I'm just anxious, and then the 40 to 150 is tempting. The new F4 is very, very tempting. I agree. I'm most likely going to pass on it because it's just I'm stretching just to get the camera itself. And Barman, love from Ukraine. Yeah, good luck out there. I haven't watched the news today, but I know Ukraine is going through some rough times right now, so my best to everyone there. Rob is a good guy on the level. And the M10, so Lauren likes the M10 Mark II also. Um but the question is, I hear the ZFC feels like plastic. It does. When I when the ZFC first came out, I asked the I asked I went to District Camera and I said, "Oh, let me see that." And I saw it on the shelf and I was like, "Wow, what a beautiful camera," right? Because I like the old film style cameras. And then I put it in my hands. I was like, "Oh my God, this feels like a piece of plastic." Oh, I mean, they wanna keep the weight down. I think they would have been better served like Olympus did with the Pen F, all metal. Who cares about the weight? Just make it solid. The build quality of the Pen F is just it's amazing. I mean, I know it's not weather sealed and it's probably not very durable, but um, I've dropped that thing on concrete and it went rolling down head over, and it still works. Um, doesn't mean that'll work if that happens to you, but the thing is when you put a pen up in your hands and you feel the weight and the solid build quality of it, it just feels really good in your hands, like a quality piece of equipment. And that's something I did not get when I picked up the Nikon ZFC. I passed on it. Wow, you still have an EPM1, man, a purple one. Yeah, I can shoot 10 megapixels, no problem. I mean, honestly, a lot of pictures I crop in, I'm down to like less than 10 megapixels a lot of times, and I'm still very happy with the image. Oh my goodness, Ganesh is here. How you doing, Ganesh? Good to see you. It's been a while. Still shooting planes, I see, on Flickr. Um, but yeah, I haven't seen you in a long time in a stream. My memory today is pretty solid, or maybe not. Maybe Ganesh has been here every week for life, and I just don't remember. Any others still rocking the M5 Mark II? Yep. I, s- I still have my M5 Mark II. Rocking it, no. It's still like brand new mint condition. I'm debating about selling that, but I think I'll only get a couple $100 for it. So I'm like, for a camera that well made, the EM5 Mark II is another camera. It's like the EM10, but on steroids. It's so much better made. The quality, it's a lot like the Pen F. When you put an EM5 Mark II in your hands, that thing feels like a quality piece of gear. And they just don't make them like they used to. You know, my EM5 Mark III, I love that camera, but it doesn't hold a candle to the M5 Mark II in terms of how it feels in your hands, in terms of build quality. Um, yeah, that camera it's in my dry box over there. It's awesome. So that's a camera I'll probably never sell. That would be a camera if I sold it, I'd regret it. Even though I rarely use it. I mean, it's like so rare that I use that camera. But if I ever sell it, I would regret it. Because I just think, having a quality piece of equipment, you'll never regret having a quality piece of equipment in your cabinet. Unless you're very practical. If you're very practical, you won't keep old stuff. You'll just get rid of stuff and only use what you need, right? But I'm more of a, you know, I just enjoy having quality items. I don't mind throwing away or selling off junk that I don't care about. But if I have a quality piece of gear, I like to keep it. Yeah, your EM5 gets little use also. Yeah, very little. I don't think I even have 1,000 clicks on mine. Yeah, I've seen that it has some lines, that pop up so you can handhold better. It's like a guide. All right, Randy, we'll see you. Wow, you're gonna watch some racing today. Cool. Um, yeah, if you have a GX85, I don't see why you need a GX9. 800, it's a good deal, Lauren, but you want the lens more than you want the camera. I would just try and buy the lens. Nash is asking, does the OM1 have starry autofocus? Yes, it does. Definitely, the OM1 has starry sky AF. Uh, oh God, Roberto. Roberto, you guys can read Roberto's joke here. This is so bad. But Roberto's vlogs are hilarious in my opinion. I always enjoy a good laugh. I mean, there's very few things that I laugh out loud at, and Roberto's vlogs are one. You know, um, Friends and Frasier and Seinfeld, those I laugh out loud, but there's very few comedies on TV. Anyway, uh, Randy's also confirming for you, Ganesh, that it has Starry Sky AF. And what's the reason for the 40 to 150 f4 when the 40 to 150 2.8? Um, it's just a matter of size and weight. Some people don't want to carry a 2.8, the big 2.8, right? But they still want a quality 40 to 150. So to bring the weight down, they bring it down to f4, but you still get the same quality as the 40 to 150 f2.8 because the plastic ones like the 40 to 150 that's $99 or it's 199, whatever the price is, um that's nowhere near the quality of the 40 to 150 Pro lens, and it's not weather sealed. So that's the point, is really to bring the size and weight down. So people that want that focal range but don't want to have to carry a big lens. And I think it fits that. I mean, I think that I would probably take the f4 lens over the f2.8 personally now that it's available. Because that's what's held me back from getting the f2.8 lens was that the size and weight is a little bit unwieldy for me. I don't like big heavy lenses. Um, so but the 40 to 150 f4 is about the same as the 12 to 40 Pro. So that's a lot more attractive. If I can get a quality 40 to 150, I I would be happy. I would be happy with a quality 40 to 150. I don't necessarily need it to be f2.8. That would be why I would get the f4. I just don't need f2.8. I would be content with f4 because think about it, the plastic version is only f4 to f5.6. So it's really only a stop slower. But if it was high quality at f5.6, I wouldn't even look at the f4 version, because I don't care about weather sealing personally. But I know that it's not. I know the 40 to 150 f4 is much better quality. Ah, my memory's right. Okay, great. Because if you've been in my last few streams, I've been bitching about how my memory has been a little bit off lately, but today I'm on. I don't know what it is. Lack of sleep, maybe. John is asking, would you recommend getting the 75 to 300 with fungus for 110 bucks? If the fungus, yeah. If the fungus is on the front element, I wouldn't worry about it. Just put it under some UV light to kill it so it doesn't spread. So I'd say, I don't know, you'll have to research how long you need to have it under a UV light to kill the fungus. Um, but yeah, put it under a UV light to kill the fungus so it doesn't spread if it's on the front element. If it's on the rear element, That's a little bigger problem. That will affect image quality, depending how big the fungus is. If it's just a tiny little speck, yeah, kill it and you'll be fine. That's an awesome deal. If it's on the front element, you just need to kill the fungus and um and you'll be fine. It's not going to affect image quality if it's on the front element. Very, very little, if at all. I mean, my rationale is um like here's my 25 millimeter, right? I can put my finger in front of the lens like this and take a picture. My finger will be so blurred out that it may not even be noticeable in the image, right? Um, I mean, I'm exaggerating, but you get my point is you can have some pretty harsh defects on the front element before they really start to show up in your images. Um, so yeah, I would do it. 110 bucks, I would do it. Personally, I would have no hesitation if it's on the front element. I would hesitate on the rear element depending how big it is. If it's a little speck, yeah, I would still get it. Yeah, and that's a good point, right? If it does affect image quality in the future, you're only out 110 bucks. So, I mean, a tank of gas costs almost that much right now. It's ridiculous. Ugh. Oh, Danish got the E1 5 megapixel. Wow. I think the lowest one I have is 8 megapixel. I have like an E330, and then my E500 I think is 10 megapixel. I can't remember. I doubt it, Demorkin. I doubt it. You might be able to sell it like as a trade-in, I doubt it, but if you sell it online, like on eBay or something, it might be worth a little more. I mean, the thing with cameras, even though they might be rare, they have to be desirable, right? Or demand for it. And I don't think there's a lot of demand for an EM10 Mark II. Even though people in the Olympus world know how good that camera is. On the used market, people buying that, they may not know anything about Olympus and they're like, oh, whoop-de-doo, it has a leather case. They're not going to care. But, check eBay and see. For something to have value, it has to be rare, which it is, but it has to be, desirable. People have to want it for some reason. And Menmo says, I had the EM5 Mark II and I gave it to my daughter to buy the Mark III, which I love, but I went right ahead and bought another Mark II just to have it. They do not compare. Yeah. Honestly, yeah, the Mark II is still an excellent camera. That could be my backup camera. Why do I need an EM5 Mark III even? But come to think of it, I could probably sell my EM5 Mark III, the EM5 Mark III is the megapixels match. Uh, so for my work, that may be important. Probably not, but for in terms of consistency, staying within 20 megapixels instead of skipping to 16. I don't know. I have to give that some. I didn't even. Whoops. What happened to my? I'm sorry. I accidentally hit a button here. There we go. Oh, the E500 is 8, the E400 is 10. Okay. I get them mixed up. Oh, Demorkin here. Kind of backing up what I said. They did a lens test with a fly on the lens and then removed it. Good photos either way. It's just because the way the light bends, right? Light is going to bend around. Well, I don't know if it really bends around, but light's coming in from so many different directions that just putting a fly on the front of the lens, you're still getting light from all these different directions, and the fly is only going to represent a very, very small percentage of the total light. Um, so yeah, whatever I was saying before about that holds. I thought the question popped up down here, but it didn't. Sorry. And Roberto says the all-in-one hands-on reviews by Rob Trek and Narrowband will be the ones to watch. Can't wait. Gee, thanks. Like I said, I may not do a whole-on review, but we'll see. I wouldn't be very good at that. Ben would be a good one to watch. He's still got the energy for doing a full-on review, man. I don't think I would have that kind of energy. Or or to use a pun, I don't have the bandwidth to do a whole review of Olympus All-in-One. Ben would have the bandwidth for it. I just don't. Christine says, on another note, you had a number of guests here recently. What's their feedback? Did they enjoy the opportunity? Will you continue inviting guests? Yes. Um, they really loved it and complimented me a lot after the stream. So I was very flattered that they liked being on the stream and that I invited them. I do have another guest coming next week on Sunday. Um, and and I have another person lined up after that. So I have two more, and they're going to be females. And I'm focusing on female guests, right? I'll do anything to meet women, but I'm just kidding. But I'm focusing on two on female guests, particularly in March, because I think it's Women's History Month or something. But not just that. I think there's not enough female representation on my channel, right? Every time I do a live stream and I have guests, it's always dudes, right? Um, so I'm trying to expand and have a little diversity. And the way women see things and present things is very, very different than I would, and a lot of guys would present things. Their approach to photography and their thinking process is just very different. And um, it's been really my honor to have them on as guests. So I will have some more female guests in the future, not exclusively, right? I'm gonna have some dudes, you know. Not that gender is important, but having only one gender is a problem. So I think having both male and female or neutral, whatever, if there's more than just male and female, doesn't matter to me. But only having only one to me is a little bit limiting and is not giving a full diversity of views and opinions and approaches to photography. We all, so the more diversity I can have in my guests, I think the better it is for everyone. And so anyway, so yeah, I do have two more lined up. One for next week definitely is confirmed, time and date, next week, Sunday. Another one, they're definitely coming, but it's probably going to be mid to late March. So maybe 3 weeks from now, another guest. And I think you're really gonna like the lineup I have. I'm trying to get some more high profile type guests too. Because so far I've featured sort of, medium size, right? Or new people and medium sized people. But I don't have any really high profile type people, people that have been published and have books, really high end photography. I wouldn't say high end, but let's say high profile type photographers. So I'm trying to get them, but we'll see. I need to build up a little more credibility on my end so it's worth their time. Like, I don't want to waste anybody's time. I want to be prepared and do a good job for them out of respect for them, right? And so that's coming. But anyway, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that, Christine. I really enjoyed having them, and they enjoyed being on the stream and are happy to come back anytime I invite them. So they say. We'll see, right? Um, Morgan says, put a lens with fungus and under UV light for a week or so. That will kill the fungus. Oh, wow, a week. Okay, thanks. I didn't know how long. I thought maybe 30 minutes, but you're saying a week. Wow, that's interesting. So fungus is hard to kill, right? Like the movie. Because, they sell those UV light things where you put your phone inside and you only have to put them in for like an hour or something and you're good, but maybe not. That's just killing bacteria. Maybe fungus is a little harder to kill. I've never had to kill fungus. I've just let it stay there. And I think Rob drop test report. Yeah. You miss Emily's stream. Yeah, she's always a great guest. I'm gonna have her back on in the summer. Invite Vivian Meyer. I think I'm too late for that. I know who she is now. If you'd have said that name last year, I'd be like, who? Yeah, I'll try. Then the joke's on me, right? And then this is more about blocking the front element. I guess that conversation. Um, Look at a reflecting telescopes. The secondary mirror blocks the center of the primary mirror, but you don't see it. Yep. And the M43 guy, yes. You did recommend him in one of your emails recently. I do read them, see? Because I know you emailed me about him day before yesterday. So I am looking into that. He may even be watching the stream. If you're here, just come on in. By the way, I put a link to this stream. If you want to join in live as a guest, there's a link right in the description if you want. I forgot to mention that. So if you're here, you're welcome to come on now. Um, Beautiful Wanderer. Yeah, I've never heard of them. But you guys can always email me, rob@robtrek.com, and make suggestions. And then probably get Northbound Journeys. I never heard of her either. She shoots M43 gear and reviewed the Olympus 20 on her channel. I never heard of them. Jerry took up photography. All right, now you got me curious. So YouTube, see. There's Northbound Journeys. Yeah, this is someone I haven't reached out to yet. That's true. But sometimes people just give me a name and not their channel. But I definitely have not seen this person if they have a contact. Yeah, they do. Wow, they're from Sweden. Awesome. I'll watch a few of her videos and see. If you guys like her, I'll bring her on if she's willing to come on. And then I know Michael Four Thirds guy. Who is the other person you guys recommended? Um, Beautiful Wanderer, right? Let me see. Oh, Beautiful Wanderer is like the name of a song too, apparently. You guys need to give me a little more description. Beautiful Wanderer biography. Oh, this one must be right. Yeah, actually, I am reaching out to her already, come to think of it. I don't know why I'm not subscribed. Uh I sent her a message. She never got back to me. Maybe she didn't see it. This was definitely one. It was about a month ago. Yeah, Robin. Um I sent a message on her Instagram, like in here, but I never got a response. So I'll try again. Maybe she missed it. Yeah, that's possible. Maybe she missed it. 'Cause, if you're not interested, it's okay. You don't have to come on my channel. Um, happened to my live stream window. Okay. Uncle Rob probably get northbound journeys. She shoots. Yep. Okay, I'm there. I'm there. Maybe Rob should review the E1 with the OMS OM one. Oh, Dinesh. you know, um, Dinesh, you're not from my local photo club, are you? Or not photo club, but you came to one of my free classes, didn't you? I think that's you, Dinesh Sharma. You came to like my flash photography class or something, late last year. I think that's you. Same name anyway. I mean, Sharma is a pretty hardcore Indian name, very common. So maybe it's not the same person. And Hire says, I'm glad you're having more women. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's important. Definitely like on the photo club. There's definitely a lot of women in the photo club. So they're just underrepresented on YouTube, I feel like. The only big female YouTuber online that I'm aware of, I mean, there's probably many, is like that's the Snap Chick, right? Uh, Snap Chick is pretty big channel. I haven't watched her lately. Um, can't think of any other huge channels by female photographers. Piper Bush, of course, she deleted most of her videos. The old ones were really good. But she does have a new video about how to develop film. I mean, she's fun to watch like once in a blue moon. I couldn't take like a daily onslaught subscription of her, but she's a character. And click on her playlist. She is creative. Okay, I'll check her out. I'll check out those two, Northbound and Beautiful Wander. Let's go all and invite, oh, yeah, those two. I would rather invite Chelsea rather than Tony. Either one, though. They're both really nice people. But, oh, Dinesh is from Toronto. Okay, so you're not. Sorry. But I last year, I need to start them again, but I was doing free photography classes last year, and I know I had a Dinesh in the class. And Sharma, the last name is so common that I just thought it might be you. You might be the same person that was in my class. Because there's Dinesh, uh, Pratik, Pranab. There's a lot of very common Indian names. Sharma. Um, oh, the names escape me now, but there's a lot. There's a lot of very, very common names. Some of them are really long. Oh my God. I tell you, they're really hard to pronounce. If I do it slowly, I can get it right. But, but I like the two-syllable ones, Sharma, Pratik. Uh, have I seen Etched? I think he's an Olympus ambassador in Australia. Great content. I have not seen Etched. Let me just look real quick. I already closed the window. Uh, ep.201. Um, so I've seen his thumbnails. I've seen the thumbnails. I've not actually watched any of his videos though. As you can tell, there's no red lines on any of these. Let me click in here and see. Because you know how it is when you watch a video on YouTube, you get a little red line to show that you watched it already. I haven't watched Jack. Interesting. I'll add him on there. We'll see. I'll look into it. But I'm going to focus on mostly females for March. And then maybe in April, start to transition back over to a little more different variety. Oh my God, are you challenging me? Uh, let me try it. Benji Purapu Venkata Sai Laxman. How's that? Let me know how I did there. Benji Purapu Venkata Sai Laxman. Okay. That's my best effort. That wasn't too hard if I got it right. If I was way off, then yeah, it's hard, but I think I got that right. Yeah, Ganesh and Kumar. Kumar is very solid Indian name. Very solid. Uh oh, I have not seen Etched. I've not watched any, but I subscribe. We'll check them out. Um yeah, clicker playlist. I'll check that. And who's leaving? Just follow Danny Connor. Okay, I got enough people to check out. I'm still waiting to hear back from some other people. Do you agree OM system really needs a PenF2 or any rangefinder? Uh I would say I would love to have a PenF2 personally, but your question is, do they need a PenF2? I would say they don't need a PenF2 in their lineup. It's not in line with their marketing message. If they were marketing street photography and stuff, yeah, then they need a Pen F2, but they're not marketing that way. But I would love to have one. I would love to have one, but I think they don't need it. I don't know how you do it, Lauren, but you always make me laugh. I wish I had your wit, man. I tell you, if I could use that wit in a class, I might actually pay to come to my classes. And the Morgan says, I would like to see first and second curtain flash setups. I did second curtain with basketball player too, and a lot of shots to get the trailing light, the trailing right. Yeah. It's tricky. I'm not a sports guy, and it's a beginning flash class, not like advanced. Although I do talk about first and second curtain flash, and I do give a demo of that. I don't, and I suggest some ways, but I don't do a ton of demos with that and start talking about all, because second curtain sync, it's really awesome. You can do a lot of interesting things, not just for like sports, like what you're talking about, but uh, like an event photography where you can spin the camera and flash. So the people are standing there frozen in the scene, but then the scene around them is all spun around with streaks. So second curtain sync is can be really creative way to do photography, but I touch on it a little in my class, but I don't go into a lot of detail. I just show a couple of examples like with the spinning room and stuff. Oh, let at Dinesh Sharma be the judge. Oh, you don't know, huh? Okay. Derek Frost, Force. Maybe. Maybe. I've never been able to connect with him though, which, is my problem, my shortcoming, right? I really have to stretch to watch his videos. For me, it's a stretch, but that's nothing to do with his content. That's just me, right? I don't know, Dinesh, did I pronounce that name correctly? Because Ganesh is not telling me if I did or not. Yeah, you're smoking. That ain't gonna happen, Lauren. NF2, that's gonna be 1,500 bucks. Just saying. Please review the E long with the OMS OM1. Uh, I don't have an E1. Unless you're talking about the EM1 Mark III, but I don't have. If E1 was a camera, I don't have it. Casey. The only time I've seen Casey do a live stream was with the Nikon guy. What's his name? Matt Granger? Is it Matt Granger? Ugh, I got squirrels in my attic or a cat. Something's pitter pattering up there. I love Casey, but I don't know in a live stream what he'd be like. Oh, okay, Jen. Yeah, next time. Next time I have it. Okay. Um, okay. Ganesh. Dinesh says I pronounced it right. So I'm halfway decent at pronouncing Indian names. Not as good as I used to be, but I am halfway decent. Um Wish we had David Thorpe as a guest here. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry, David has passed on, unfortunately. We all miss him very much. Mike G has a question. Do you think OM Systems will bring back the Pro Advantage program where you can take an OMD EM1 for service? I think they should, because everyone else has a professional, like, Pro Advantage program. And if they want to be considered seriously by professionals, they should have that program. I don't know if they will or not. So all I can say is I think they should bring it back, but not, but I don't have any information whether they will or not. Or call a doctor. Uh, no, I need to go up there. They something whittled through the wood on the side. I forget the awning. So there's a hole about this big in my roof. So just about anything can get through there. A cat, a rat, a squirrel, bats. Man, I had a hardcore bat problem. People were calling me Bruce. 'Cause I had so many bats in my attic. Oh my God, that was hilarious. Um, and there's nothing you can do about it until it's winter time, right? When they're not in your attic anymore, then you have to go up in the attic. And so I got to do something before spring, before they come back. Because once they're in there, there's nothing you can do. Um, and I'm not going to kill them. You know, they have as much right to live as I do, but uh, I gotta figure out how to keep them out in the first place. Right now, I gotta figure out how to get rid of these squirrels and maybe put a scarecrow in my attic. My attic is huge. I mean, I can walk around up there, right? It's not finished or anything. It's just, fiberglass and I mean, it's an unfinished attic totally, but it's really huge. I could create a whole nother floor up there. But Rob has bats in his belfry, doctor. Yeah. Uh, cat would work for squirrels. Oh, I know. I wish I could if I could have a cat in my house, that would solve a lot of my critter problems. Because I got mice. I had this mouse. I'd be like just sitting there watching TV, and this mouse would just walk across my living room, like without a care in the world, you know? And I'm like yelling at Ellie, Ellie, go get that mouse, right? She doesn't care either. Mouse just don't phase her. I don't know why. It used to be she would kill anything that moved, but somehow this little tiny mouse, this was last summer. Uh, and snakes, man, I got snakes in my house too because I went down in the basement, uh, in the fall, and there was like this long skin. You know how they shed their skin, molt? I was just once sitting there on the bar. I got a bar downstairs. Just this long molted snake skin on the bar. It's crazy. Put a dark room. No, I don't need to. I'm never gonna do the enlargements and paper prints. I don't see myself doing that anytime soon. If I did, I would consider that, but no, not anytime soon. Yeah, Terry, all I can tell you, okay, is that the OM1 is not going to be the only announcement, I think. We're going to hear about another camera here soon. So Because as I was reaching out to various guests, right, and most of them were Olympus or OM Systems users, uh, they wanted to wait until much later, March, April timeframe. And I can't think of any reason for that, really. I don't want to say more than that, but I can tell you that I will start another rumor, okay? This is just a rumor, but OM Systems is going to release another camera within the next week or two. Mark my words, we're going to hear about another camera. I have no idea what that's going to be. No idea. But there's another camera coming. That's my rumor for the day. I won't say more than that. Um, oh, Jerry catches mice as a Jack Russell. That makes sense. Um, yeah, those Jack Russells, man. They are hardcore mice and rat killers. Hardcore. I would love to have a cat to kill the mice problem I got though. And Maya thinks it's going to be a new EM1X. Could be. I doubt it though, because the original EM1X didn't really sell that well, as far as I could tell. Caitlin says Judy Hancock. Let me look her up. Do I not have? Oh, let's see. YouTube. See, Judy. Another name I haven't heard. I mean, she doesn't have a lot of videos though. She got 5,000 subscribers, almost 6,000 subscribers with like a 7 videos, 8 videos, 9. Is this who you're talking about? Well, I'll look into it. I don't. I don't know. When someone's not very active on YouTube means they're very busy, and meaning they're busy with things other than YouTube. That YouTube is not a priority for them, so they may not even care to come on a live stream. But all I can do is ask. But I've added her to the list there. How come? Yeah, I'm back. John thinks. Oh wait, Gordon. Let me address this from Gordon here. Anyone think I should swap my Pen F for GX9? Uh, I personally would not do it. I think the Pen F is a much nicer camera. I would never do that personally. But if you don't like the Pen F, yeah, swap. But for me, I love the Pen F so much, I would never. If I could only have one camera, even if it's the OM1 versus the Pen F, me personally, Pen F, hands down. I don't even have to think twice. It'd be like, Rob, we have an OM1 and we have a Pen F. Which one do you want? I'd be like Pen F. Sorry, I accidentally hit the wrong button. Um, but it's a very, the Pen F is a very subjective, like more of a feeling. Uh, It's a very irrational decision to want a Pen F over an OM1. It's just a matter of I just love that camera. That's all. Yeah, you're probably better off. I mean, a Pen F is like 900 bucks. Really? I would, I would, I'll never sell my Pen F and I'll never, trade it for any, it's just in there. Caitlin says the new Panasonic is a bit disappointed. The AF is not great. The buffer is very slow, maybe good for video, but don't shoot video. Stick with the yeah, exactly. The yeah, if you do sports action type photography, yeah, the GH6 is not gonna be the best choice if if that's your area. If you're just doing general photo walks and photography, it's fine. It's more than fine. But yeah, it does lack any kind of sports action. It's nowhere near the OM1 in terms of photography. When it comes to sports action type stuff, wildlife, you have to go very, very high end, Nikon Z9, Canon R5C or R5, whatever. You have to go pretty high end, Sony A1 to get the capabilities that OM1 is claiming, you know? We'll see over time if it's really as good as all that. Remember when the EM1 Mark III came out, everybody thought it was the shit and was gonna, rival all the top cameras. Uh, so the OM1 is doing the same thing, but I think it's looks very legitimate now that they've nailed the autofocus. But we'll see, because I did a lot of practicing today, doing birds. So I'm gonna try and practice some more this week, some birds in flight, birds in general, and with my 75 to 300. And that way, when I get the OM1, I'll have a feel for shooting birds in flight, like wildlife sports action type stuff. Uh, and Michael has a I forget, Michael. You're Panasonic and Fuji shoot. No, you're not the Fuji guy. But Michael's been around a long time. He would know. I would value his opinion very strongly. If he says the GX9 is excellent, but not better than the Pen F, I would believe him. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Did you guys see my poll? Um, where is? Hold on. Let me try and pull it up. Here's the poll. 299 votes. Are you buying the new OM1? And 30% said, and I didn't really word the questions perfectly, but it's basically I could only pick five options. Yes, primarily for the improved AF and new sensor. So that's it's 30%. So that's about 60 people, right? Out of 300. It's three times two, yeah. And then there's actually 2% or six people that are buying it primarily for the improved video specs. That surprised me that it's even that high. I didn't think anybody buys an OM system camera for the video. 6%, which is about 12 people, said yes, upgrading from a much older camera because everything is better on the OM1. But half the people, more than half, right? If you take 49% plus 11%, 60% of the survey said that their current camera does all they need, or the OM1 is not a big enough upgrade. It doesn't do enough. I wanted to say it's not a big enough upgrade, but I couldn't fit it in the limited space I have. Or they're just asking too much compared to what else they can buy on the market at that price point. So 300 votes, that's pretty substantial. These are pretty solid. I thought this poll was kind of interesting too. And I do this for my own curiosity, right? I don't really use them for any kind of uh videos or anything. I'm just curious what people think, right? And it seems like things other people might be curious. But you know, what resolution screen do you primarily watch YouTube? Do you watch it on 4K? I can't believe that's only 10%. And then 1080p was the biggest on a computer or laptop, 25%. So most people, if they're watching on their computer or laptop, they're just watching in full HD or better, right? Because there's the 2K, the 1440. I should have combined 1440 and 1080p together. That was my intent, but I don't even own a 4K or 1440 monitor. Everything I own, whether it's my TVs or my laptops or my monitors, everything is 1080p, full HD. But I was shocked to see 44% of the people use their cell phones to watch YouTube. I mean, this poll is going to be skewed to people that are my viewers, right? Because YouTube is not going to ask people that are not my viewers. Generally speaking, I mean, everybody can see it, but most of the people that see it are my viewers, right? Because they're going to see my name and it's, oh, Rob is asking. Let me type. I was shocked. Like, let's do a lightning round here. How many people right now are watching on their phone? If you are, just say yes in the comment. I'm just curious. I would be shocked. I would be shocked if like 40 names popped up right now. Because that would be about half the people. Well, I think there's about 80 people online. I would be shocked. Wow, Jesse is? No kidding. Sasha, hi. All these people that you haven't said a word the whole stream. Gordon is on an iPad. John's on a laptop. David, you're watching on your phone? Are you I gotta watch my language. Kidding me? Wow, so many people. I am shocked. Marcel's on a phone? Gigafish sometimes, but not now. Sasha working on Lightroom, okay. Marcia says the small screens give me a headache. Lauren's on an iMac. Wow. Wow, I'm surprised. I'm just scrolling up here. Wow. That's a good number of you. So maybe this poll is right. Like half the people are watching on their cell phone. Not quite half, but man. TV and phone the chat. Oh, I've done that before. Um, what Roberto's talking about, where I'll be watching on TV, but I'll have not my phone, but I'll have my Android tablet using for the chat. But the chat doesn't update. I'll have to try my iPad and see if that updates better. I'm not having much luck with the chatting on my tablet. And Mark Wolf's on a laptop. Terry's on an iMac and using a phone to respond. Well, that's interesting. I mean, an iMac has a legit keyboard. Why would you use your phone unless you're just better at using your phone? Huh. Interesting. Anthony's on a laptop. Anthony's on a laptop. Sasha says amazing weather in Amsterdam. Yes. We're having really nice weather today. We're going to get up to like 58 degrees, I think. John's watching on a TV, a 4K TV. All right. Um, the Morgan's watching on it. Yeah, I'd say 90% of the time I'm watching TV on a I'm watching YouTube on a TV. If it's a live stream, I'll open up my tablet to chat. It's very rare though. Um, and then so that's why I watch a lot of YouTube videos, but I don't get a chance to comment because when I'm watching on TV, it doesn't allow me to type anything, right? I can only watch. And coffee chillers, also TV, but using the phone to respond. And it has a 4K 55-inch in the house and a 32-inch 1440 displays. When on TV, I use a phone to chat. Wow. Current figures say most people are using, yeah. I am just shocked at that. I mean, I use my phone I mean, just this, I rarely type on my phone, using that little tiny keyboard, but I do check things like my email and texts and Instagram. But about anytime I have to type something, man, I got a full-on mechanical keyboard. This is how I communicate mostly. I can't use that little, this tiny little thing. Oh, speaking of which, I got messages. Oh, no, I can't do that. But yeah, I can't use the little tiny keyboard that pops up on here. It's all thumbs, literally. I'm all thumbs when it comes to that, and it's sloppy. And the Galaxy Tab S7. Yeah, I use a S. I got a Galaxy Tab A, like a very cheap one. It was like 200 bucks when I bought it. It's not worth anything now. Markman has an 18-inch screen. And do I have a color? Yes. My display, um, I have 3 displays. 2 of them are like 99% sRGB. The other one is consistently, the third one is 100% sRGB. And I don't work in Adobe RGB, but I did measure them. The 2 monitors are around, 70% or less Adobe RGB, and the one monitor here is about 80% Adobe RGB. So it's not good enough to have an Adobe RGB workflow, but all of them are 99% or 100% sRGB. And they're all calibrated using SpiderX. And I usually do it once every couple of months. I should do it more often, but yeah. Oh, you draw on the S7. Yeah. Bob Finley says, check out She Clicks. All right, let me add one more. But I got plenty now. I'm gonna lose track of who's who if I add too many people. She Clicks. Okay, I got it. I'm now subscribed here. Yeah, she's got a pretty good portfolio here. Stuff. I'm just checking her out here. Okay, I'll check it out. I don't know if I can coordinate all of these in March, but I'll try. I'll try and get as many people on as I can. Although I love just standing here. I'm very I love chatting with you guys directly. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Um, hopefully I get it soon. I hope I hope District Camera gets it in tomorrow. I'm tempted to call them tomorrow and see if it came in. We'll see. All right, I think I should go. It's been a while. Um, Terry says, thinking of selling my 75 1.8 because I never use it anymore, but the lens is so sweet. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't use it very often, but when I do, I'm so happy. So I'm keeping it, even though the usage is far and few between. But I do have some videos, some vlogs that I've done using that 75 millimeter. I have at least three, maybe four vlogs. Um, and the results are amazing. So, I mean, if you haven't touched it in a couple of years, yeah, maybe sell it. But if you only use it every few months, I'd keep it because it's so sweet when you use it. It's so nice. And Caitlin says the Z9 is a great camera, but it's very overpriced, and the lenses it used also overpriced. I shot Nikon for 30 years and find the Olympus lens is very comparable. Wow, that's a testament there. Because you don't find too many people that, the people are generally very brand loyal because there's a familiarity with the quality and uh, your expectations from a camera system. So switching camera systems is not a small thing for a lot of people, especially someone who's been shooting that brand for 30 years. And to say that they find it comparable with Olympus and now OM Systems, that's quite a compliment. I've been shooting only since like 2012, 2013. So my perspective on everything is very limited. Um, so I never had any brand loyalty to speak of. I'm very loyal to OM Systems now. I mean, I will always do what I can to support them and use their equipment, et cetera, et cetera. But that's me, and I try to be honest about that. I'm a huge fanboy of OM Systems. But anyway, uh, Morgan says, I had to use the R6 as I could not do basketball with the M43. Now the season is over for my players. Back to M43. Yeah, that makes sense. And it was a big leap to change. Yeah, I mean, Jimmy Chang talked about that a little bit, right? He switched from Canon to M43, Canon full frame. I switched myself from a Nikon full frame, a D750, to M43. And it was the EM10 Mark II that got me hooked, not some high-end OMD EM1 camera. It was just a very basic entry-level camera. Um, I mean, I love Nikon. I have, thanks to Randy, I have a Nikon DF, which I love. Little 16 megapixel full frame camera. Really amazing images out of that. Very crisp. And the tones and everything. I don't know what it is, but it has its own sort of feel and look to it when you take pictures and shoot with it. I mean, it's only something you can really tell when you're looking at the images on your own screen, not like on Instagram or on your phone or anything like that. Um, but it doesn't, it's not. But Olympus has its own look and feel and everything to it as well. So that's why I still shoot Olympus. Is I don't find the differences in image quality significant between camera brands from my perspective. And so I'm going to go for the camera. And I put a big priority on handling and ergonomics, features, build quality, all of that, even aesthetics. And then image quality. I mean, yeah, for a lot of people, image quality has to be number one. But for me, I know that most cameras are going to have very good image quality. So I just that's not it's not a major consideration for me anymore because I know it's kind of a given that it's going to have good image quality. The question is it going to be a camera that I want to use, right? And does it have the features that make my job easier or save me time? All that stuff. And Olympus by far, the M1s by far uh fit that need. Saved me time in the field, made my job easier, and the image quality was fine, you know? Yeah, not as good as my D750, but, when I'm stacking and layering and stuff, that advantage with the full frame camera goes away and things kind of even out anyway. Because of the professional work that I do a lot of layering and stacking because I have to, no matter what I'm using, D750 or Micro Four Thirds. Yeah, the M1 Mark II. That's what I took out this morning was the M1 Mark II for birding. I meant to take the M1 Mark III out, but they look so alike. I just grabbed the wrong one, and I didn't realize till I got out to the field. And I was like, "Damn it! I brought the M1 Mark II. I really wanted the M1 Mark III today because the autofocus on the M1 Mark III is better, significantly so." Uh, yeah, the M1 handheld high res looks interesting. The M1 Mark III has that. It's awesome. Yeah. But okay, I'm gonna call it here. Thanks everyone. I know there's a lot of people still here. I appreciate that. But I'll be back on Thursday. But Friday, Sunday next week, definitely I'm gonna have a guest on. So stay tuned for that. Her name is Ariana, and she's not exclusively an Olympus shooter. She she shoots film and she shoots Fuji. But she also shoots Olympus. I think that's her main working camera. I'm gonna have her on, and she's relatively new, small channel, new, very similar to Emily. But I really like her work and her videos and everything. So we're gonna talk to her next week. And but this Thursday I'll be back. I really want to try and go back into editing, but my Olympus workspace stopped working. I wanted to do editing with Olympus workspace this week, but I it stopped working after some update that I did on my computer, and I it's a whole nother thing. But okay, guys, you have a good rest of your weekend. Thanks for joining me today, and we'll see you again soon.